Welcome once again to the Real Talk TRT, a space where we do get to talk about the conversations of life, specifically regarding marriage. As usual, Emmanuel Lama and
Dakas Magawa Lama, and we are so happy to be bringing you today's topic, which is love. Love, because we love love. Yeah, that is today's topic. So take it away.
Yeah. So I think last week we ended at a point where we concluded with the feast. Yeah. The contention was if it's for the right or the left, but it's my right because my left is stronger. Yeah. So we talked about faith, family, fun, fellowship, and finances, and then we had this whole analogy of saying you have to put in the work if the marriage is going to work. Yes. So it's a folded feast, and like we said, it's not
about the fighting.
It's not about the physical fight, but our whole point was there's work to put in, there's work to be done if the marriage is going to work. But
it's also about the concept that two are better than one. So when you have two fists, you will achieve more than if I'm boxing you with one, I might not achieve more. Yeah. But when I am using my two, then there is some fist defending and another one hitting. Yeah. So yes, the idea is that two are better than one.
Great. So like we said, the whole, when we're prepping for this, and I must say it was a bit of a struggle. Yeah. Because of when you mention the word love, I think the perceptions is as many as the number of people in the world. Everyone has a sort of like sense of their definition for love. Yeah. But our discussion here we're putting across a point of saying these whole conversations that we talked about, the conversation about faith, about family, all these things, if they are not supported by another feast, then it ends up becoming like a list you make that you have to tick off.
Yeah, it becomes a routine, it becomes an act.
Whereby, we're supposed to go for a walk, but then the whole motivation and the why is because you want something to work. Yeah. But then the whole idea of, what is the big picture here? Okay, that's the whole conversation. If marriage is not initiated in love, sustained by love, then it can't be accomplished in love. Yeah. So that's where the love angle comes in. I won't be drawn into the whole temptation of defining love. But ultimately, I don't think we can leave the whole idea about love to its relative sense.
That's where we have to tell people, different people have different definitions of what love is, but they are the principles of love. Yeah. There is one who defined love for us, and for us we believe in God. So we believe that God defined for us love, and that's what I really want us to focus on. And today, as we were preparing, we actually got a scripture that we would love to share with you. It is a common scripture, and it says that that is 1 Corinthians 13 in the Passion Translation.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's his favorite. Yeah. So it says that love is large and incredibly patient. Love is gentle and consistently kind to all. It refuses to be jealous. When blessing comes to someone else, love does not brag about one's achievements, nor inflate its own importance. Love does not traffic in shame and disrespect, nor selfishly seek its own honor. Love is not easily irritated or quick to take offense. Please speak into the scripture before I add on.
So, the first time the revelation of that scripture hit me is when you look at sort of like the attributes mentioned. Love is large and incredibly patient. Yeah. so God is like saying, hey guys, I know you human beings, you're always trying to create things, okay? But I am love. So when you talk about love, you're basically defining me, okay? So if I say I love you, then I should be walking in these sort of like principles, in these steps. I should be a patient man. I should be gentle. I should be consistently kind. I shouldn't be jealous. I shouldn't be rude. I shouldn't brag. I shouldn't do. So it's a walk in a specific path that sort of defines our idea of interaction as human beings based on who created us. So if we bring it down to the context of marriage, where say, I mean, you date someone and then you discover that you love them, okay? Like we always say, man, I'm in love with that girl. Like for her, I think I would want to say it came as an anomaly where I don't mean it in a bad way. I'll put a disclaimer to it. So we became friends. Before then I realized, omuntu ono nga mulowoozaako nnyo. You know, it's then, you know, I started noticing some things about her.
Some kindness.
You know, even beyond that, you know. Nebirala ebigenderako. But then we began a journey of where I reached a point where I'm like, man, she's the one. She embodies of what I want in a wife, you know. Then, you know, you spend time with God. Then I had to go through this whole, even before that, even before meeting her, I was going through a phase of where God was checking off my list of what my ideal wife really would look like. Most of it was physical, most of it was it was lust fed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay? So for me, to the most part, what we actually define as love in a sense is really, really fed on feelings and emotions. Because think about this. When I think about my courtship journey and my marriage journey, it's as if I started walking the journey of love in marriage. Okay?
Yeah.
Because marriage, trust me, it gives you the biggest opportunity to be patient.
You learn.
I have never seen any place in any interaction in humanity like marriage where you're stretched to be patient, where you're stretched to be kind, where you're stretched to take no offense, where you're stretched to.
So for me, I think also when let me just jump in. When we talk about love, it's that place of love is not about me.
Yeah.
Love is about me and God. The relationship I have with God.
Yeah.
And usually when you have a relationship with God, there are things you can't do to your friend.
Yeah.
Because you are supposed to love your neighbor. And then what about my husband? So love is about sacrifice. Love is about giving. Love is about expecting nothing from really the other party. Because I think for me what has killed marriages, and I think we are not saying we really know these things, but some of the things that were destroying our marriage was we expected a lot from each other. Where you enter marriage and you expect he should open for you the door. You enter marriage, you expect him to do this and that. You enter marriage and you expect him to buy you a car, simple things. But it's all about taking. You're not thinking about how can I love my partner from a position of giving.
Yeah.
Because
from
when
the other person's interests.
Because when I give, there is that response you will give. If I'm being disrespectful, most probably what will come back to me is a slap.
Yeah.
So it's what you give that determines what you get. So if you're patient, most probably the response will be a good gesture. If you're kind, he will also find it in his in his own ways to be kind to you. And that's why most people will say that if you want to be treated like a queen, treat him like a king, because you cannot serve from an empty place. You cannot serve from an empty glass. For me to love my husband, to love my children, to love those that are around me, I have to be love. I have to have it within me. And for me, I believe that once that love is there, it's easy for us to have the fun. It's easy for us to solve the crises of families. It's easy to deal with things of children. Either you have a child or you don't have. But when you love each other, it's very easy to say, okay, we are not getting a child. We still love each other. We still have one another. How do we deal with this concept? So for me, I believe, yeah,
true. But I want to pick up the point of saying you give yourself out. It's a partnership that is involved, a sacrificial giving, but you're giving something. Okay? So I want to pick you up on the point of you can't give out what you don't have.
True.
Okay? So how do we then get to that point of where you have something to give? Which brings us back again to our connection with our Creator. So for me, the biggest I think obstacle in marriage is whereby we are trying to give what we don't have. So in your own effort, you try to please this person. In your own effort, you try to buy her things, or in your own effort, you try to please the man with whatever you think he wants, whether it's great sex, whether it's a good dinner presentation, whether it's the tender loving care of, you see it every day, whereby even when they are saying that the new generation doesn't know how to handle marriage, but it always goes back to giving examples like, okay, musajja, when he comes in, you welcome him, and all these things. I think those are important, but when they are not drawn from somewhere else, then you burn out. Okay, you burn out. So for me, the core understanding in even this continuous process of giving and receiving has to first begin with the understanding of man, that we are inclined to be impatient. We are inclined to boast about our achievements. We are inclined to as human beings to be envious. It's inherent in us to sort of like be the contrary of what God defines as love. So that first relationship with our Creator is very, very, very crucial.
Let's take it to the other perspective. The other perspective of loving you, and this comes back to self-care things, of take care of you before you assume the other person should take care of you. Because love comes from that place where you feel energetic. You wake up in the morning and you're happy. But happiness doesn't just appear. There are things you have to do. Sleep early, work on yourself, look nice, look beautiful, put on nice clothes, take walks. Like, you boost your energy without expecting someone else to boost your energy. Because there are people who just sit and assume, if he doesn't buy me a dress, I will never have a dress.
He doesn't love me.
He doesn't love me. How can I measure love from a dress? Yeah? So and I've told my husband, there are times I want to eat chicken. It doesn't matter whether he has money or not. When I have the money, I will go eat chicken. When I feel like I want cake, I don't have to wait for it from him. I'll go and order for cake, sit and eat it and enjoy it. That self-care is important to boost that internal love. So it will help you not to expect a lot from the other party. And when you don't expect, and now I'm sure people out there are like, so why am I married if I can't expect from him? Let me tell you, you will hear this in our next series, that when you submit to a man, they are willing to do anything. They are willing, like, you tame a lion by being humble.
I want to pick up a very, very important point you raise, the idea of self-love. Self-love, I think, is a very, very important point you raise, the idea of self-love. Self-love, I think, is a very, very important point you raise, the idea of self-love. Self-love, I think, is a very, very important point you raise, the idea of self-love. For me, I think in its conventional thinking, no human being can hate themselves. Yeah. Okay? But for someone to accept who they are, to accept their uniqueness, even in a physical sense, whereby you love your skin color, it's dark, you love your hair, so then you move into taking care of that. I think it comes from understanding who you are. Yeah. Okay? But I still go back to the whole point of we have to go back to our Creator. Our identity is in the one who created us. So where you find a struggle of there is so much caution, okay, even in a simple thing like a relationship, it's all stemming from this whole guardedness of there's a limited understanding of who we truly are. Because my belief is, one, a human being is made up of a spirit, it's made up of a soul, it's made up of a body. So a body, what we see is a shell, nyumba. It's a house that houses the soul. The soul, that's where there are feelings, emotions, will, and the conscience. Then the spirit is that uniqueness that comes from God. Okay? So the guardedness, if you understand that I'm made up of a spirit, soul, and body, then it begins releasing you to the freedom of, okay, then I have a bigger interest in this whole human being of me. Okay, if I have a divine nature, which is my spirit, which comes from, because we relate with God with our spirits. Yeah. So I know the whole caution of, okay, people who are non-Christians, it doesn't change the truth. Whether so when someone becomes a Christian, what happens is, their spirit is woken up. Yeah. Okay, so you begin losing this whole guardedness. You begin understanding, man, more than even my spouse. There is someone who has my best interests at heart more than.
And I think fear. For me, when you recognize that, you will find that people are starting to embrace who they are. You find you don't need to put artificial hips to please the man who will anyway see you naked at night.
When you're
you don't need to put on fake lips. Or fake, I don't know. There are so many fake things out there. But you start to appreciating that you have, because everything you have on you is a gift.
It's God. You're uniquely designed.
Yes, you're made in God's image. So there is no reason I should be trying to put hips. I was going to say hips in my head. Anyway, so that's it. So we are talking about love, and we believe this is a topic where we can spend a full day talking about love.
Great.
So, any last remarks?
What can I say? What I hope I'll stimulate the conversation.
What is the one thing that you have achieved with love?
I think for me, it's the understanding that it's more, the whole idea that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So I think love released me to give myself, which is taking more interest in other people's interests, going out of my way to understand your interests, for example, as my wife, and then go out of my way to try and fulfill them. And then the understanding of realizing that I can't do that by myself. So I go back to my Creator. Hey, I want to serve this woman. I want to love this woman. Help me move that road. Yeah.
Let me share an example. I know we didn't agree on sharing this example, but one of the examples I can share that you have really portrayed love is when I was working in one of the organizations, and I would leave at 5 a.m. and come at 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. And then at some point, I think we had spent about 3 months without having some. Where would you get that patience? And then I kept thinking, okay, I wouldn't even think about it, by the way. I came to think about it that we hadn't had some for some time. Then at some point, I started saying, okay, I will have one for the team. So you set the timetable and say, okay, once in a month, since I'm busy. But then I think it's because of love that you were able to have that self-control and say, you know what? I will be patient. I will wait. I will have that self-control. I will love her regardless. For me, I think that was, I know I've never told you this, but I think that is when I knew this man,
It took hours in the prayer closet to come to that space where I got to what she's saying. I didn't just walk in there. No, it was struggles with God and being honest with him and saying, I feel this way, and I know the vows that I made. Help me to keep the faithfulness, help me keep the fidelity in marriage and all that, that's why I overemphasize go to your creator. I'm talking about through experience.
That was love. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, our team behind the scenes. Elvis Okelo, thank you for the magic you do with the camera. Our boss, Conan Tumusime, we love you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to serve the world. Thank you everyone who continues to support this program. We love you and God bless you.
Blessings. Till next time.